Hey everybody, welcome to the Moms Like Me podcast. I'm Jade and I'm so excited to sit down and talk to other moms. My vision for these conversations is to have a little fun, keep it lighthearted, and maybe throw in a little inspiration when we can. I hope you enjoy this episode of Moms Like Me. All right, today I'm excited to introduce a very special guest. This is Britt Wallace.
Hello.
So Britt, tell us about yourself. Tell us who you are. How long you've been married, how many kids. We just want to know all the things about you.
All right. So I am married for 6 years to Garrett. We actually dated for 6 or 7 years before we got engaged. I have 2 kiddos, a 3-year-old Fletcher and a 1-year-old Ella. And yeah.
And what do you do?
I do all the things for the company I work for. I actually work for my father-in-law, and we are in engineering. So
Sounds complicated.
Yeah. So that's kind of like, we just do engineering, and they go testing and sell equipment, and I just do all the financials and all the administrative stuff. So
That sounds super fun.
I do all the things that nobody wants to.
Yeah. And what about church? Y'all are really involved at your church.
Yep. So we go to North Highlands. We're grow group leaders on the praise team and the choir. I started a coffee bar at church. So
What?
yeah,
Can I come just get some coffee?
for sure. I mean, it's not like Starbucks, but for sure, anytime you want to come. It's called Mission Ground, so it has a cool little background. So we want all the money to go to missions, which obviously, you got to fund the coffee. But
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah,
I'm going to come
Cool.
see you and drink some coffee.
yeah.
So I have some questions for you in no particular order, and you have to answer them openly and honestly. Does that sound good?
Absolutely.
Act like I'm going to be asking you something that's just terrible. So what's it like having 2 kiddos so close in age, and was that the plan?
It's something for sure. It wasn't necessarily the plan. It took us a little over a year to get pregnant with Fletcher.
Okay.
And so we kind of thought that'd be the same course
Right.
we'd follow with Ella. Was not the case at all.
Not the
I
case.
immediately got pregnant. And so,
Isn't that how it goes?
I should have listened to all my friends, or people
Yeah.
do say, oh, it happens quick the second time. Yeah, I didn't believe that. So we got pregnant right away. They're literally 2 years apart in like a week span. Like, I think your initial due date was like 2 days apart. But
Wow.
I was thankful that didn't fall on the same day.
Yeah, that would've
But,
been fun.
It's a crazy time at our house every day. They're starting to get to an age where they want to play together a little bit, but
Oh, see, that's sweet.
it is sweet. And so, like I told Garrett the other day, like that's the good thing about them being close in age, is that they'll play together and they're kind of tracking together, which Fletcher is a bull in a china shop. And poor Ella is just like throwing punches just to keep her head above water.
keep
But
up.
yeah. So.
That's fun. See, Jeremy wanted to, we were like, we'll wait till Teddy's first birthday and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to close in age. And now we're past the first birthday. And now we're like, let's just enjoy Teddy a little bit longer.
It's very busy.
I was going to say, so what is some of your biggest challenges with having 2 kids that are so young and close in age?
There's so many, to be honest. With one kid, you can kind of trade off. Like, hey, I need a break. You take them. Yeah, there's no break with 2 kids. It's truly like we're just making it through the days most of the time.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, it's like there's no break until they go to bed. And for whatever reason, Fletcher doesn't like to sleep.
Oh,
So
no.
sometimes he's up really late, and I'm just like, I just need time for myself. And so thankfully, Ella's a good sleeper. She loves to sleep. She's on a good routine. But
Okay, that's good. If one of them's not going to be a good sleeper,
Yep.
at least the other one is.
yeah, but thankfully, though, Fletcher is finally, he would get up in the night all the time until he was like 2 years old. And he'll still do it occasionally, but now he's in a space where he's like, okay, sleeping through the night. He doesn't really get up. He's not really easily disturbed. So
Nice. So did you do the whole sleep training?
absolutely, I 100% recommend sleep training. And some people don't agree with that, but that's fine. We fully embraced it. It's so hard, but it's so worth it.
I think I just got really lucky. Like Teddy, I realized at 6 months likes to put himself to sleep.
Yep, that's Ella.
And now I put him in his bed, give him his bottle, he goes to sleep.
Yep. I was a little nervous with Ella because she was the same way, but then, we transitioned from a bottle to just nothing.
Yeah.
And I was surprised, but she did great.
Oh, good.
But yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm an advocate of sleep training. Like, it is definitely hard, and it's not child abuse.
Yes. Yes.
Eventually, they're going to have to learn to do all the things on their own anyway. So that's just a good starting point.
There you go. There you go. Did you follow, what's a resource that you followed?
I didn't really follow any. I was in a sleep training group on Facebook, and so I kind of took cues from people on there. And so that was really just with Fletcher. And it was like, hey, every 5 minutes, or you progress each time. And man, he was hard because he just doesn't like to sleep. But it was okay the further we got along into it. It only took him like a week, and it was maybe like 3 days actually for him. And he took every sleep regression very seriously. Like,
the sleep regression.
we went through all of them.
Yeah.
But Ella, it's a second kid. Like, you just kind of slack off a little bit. You're very lenient.
Yeah.
She's a girl. It's a little different. It's so funny. Like, boys and girls are just different the way you handle and parent them.
That's such a good point that I didn't even think to bring up.
Yeah. It's different. Garrett and I were talking about this last night. Like, we're really hard on Fletcher, but that's just because he's 100 miles an hour all day long. I think that's why it's different. But Ella's just easy and laid back and go with the flow. But yeah, the sleep training with her was super easy. We didn't push it as hard, but we didn't have to.
Yeah. I was thinking about this. I've heard people say, and you can tell me if this is true for y'all or not, that usually moms are harder on the girls and the dads are usually harder on the boys, and dads are softies with the girls. I don't know. Have you found that to be, or are y'all pretty similar on how you parent?
We're pretty similar. Garrett's a little harder than I am in some cases with Fletcher, but I'm pretty stern with Fletcher. Like, Fletcher and I butt heads a good bit, but we're also together up until like when he started going to school every 4 days a week or whatever. But Fletcher and I go head to head a lot. And so I'm pretty stern with him. I'll give him some slack a good bit more than Garrett does in some areas, but for the most part, Garrett and I are pretty much on the same page with disciplining and things like that. Now, Garrett and I both are like we're pretty lenient with Ella. We're just kind of like, oh, it's fine. But we've had to start getting onto her a little bit. But I think she just learns like, hey, Fletcher's doing stupid stuff, so I'm not gonna do that.
So I'm not gonna do that.
She just takes it like she's one and just looks at him like, you're crazy when he acts like the 3-year-old that he is.
Oh gosh, that's funny. Well, this might be your hardest stage, the sleep issues, but what's been the hardest stage or phase of parenting so far?
We're in one.
Okay.
Yeah. Fletcher is in a very defiant stage, and people talk about the terrible 2s. Those are hard. Then I think it's the trying 3s or something. Yeah. He is definitely trying all the things. And so it's a tough season, but I would say like definitely the sleep is hard, like with a newborn and stuff like that. We're kind of out of that stage, thank goodness. But yeah, losing sleep is not easy, like when you have a newborn baby. But then, the defiant and he's just
oh gosh, not my sweet Teddy. I can't see him go through that stuff.
I surely hope that you don't have to, but I think he's taken some pointers from his friends at school because he doesn't try most of these things at school, I think, but he comes home and just pushes the boundaries.
That's a good point. I've also read, I don't really research a lot of things. That's just not really me, but I think I saw something on Instagram or TikTok that talked about how if your kids go to school and they're little, they're being good and listening to their teacher all day. Like if they don't get in trouble at school, so that when they get
just
home,
let loose.
Just like,
they do.
You think find that to be true? Yeah.
Now he does act up some at school, but it's also being around their moms.
Yes.
Like, he acts like a savage around me. Like, I don't know, it's just me.
I have heard that too, and I don't know if I've seen it with me and Jeremy as much, just because we're both around him pretty equally. But I think I've read that like if the kids are around their moms more, that they usually act worse for their mothers.
It's true. He does it some with Garrett too. I think he just cuts up because he knows like he can push it some, but he does get in trouble a good bit. So
oh gosh,
you think as much as he gets in trouble, like he would chill out, but
he doesn't. Well, I can't wait for that stage.
Crazy times.
So I love this. I've seen a lot of this where some people say it's hard to go from 0 to 1 and easier to go from 1 to 2. Was that the case for you, or was 0 to 1 harder?
0 to 1 was not hard for us. Like It's a transition. Like,
Yeah.
it's a learning curve. You forget how to function as adults when you lose sleep, and, you're just going through the motions. But then 1 to 2 is something else. Like, especially with we had a 2-year-old at the time. So
yeah.
he was turning 2. He started preschool. It's like there's a lot of things back to back with Fletcher, and so that was a really hard time. But we're still learning.
You're still learning. It should get easier. The older they get, the more independent they get.
That's
Hopefully.
true. Fletcher is very independent, but we just kind of fake it till we make
Just
it.
fake it till you make
It's
it.
true.
That's right. We're all just doing the best we can.
It's true.
I know it's true too, where people, you see kids acting up in a store or something. And before, when I wasn't a parent, I would be like, oh my gosh, they need to get your kids. And now I get it.
Yeah.
There's some things you just don't get until you are a parent.
I would never let my kid do that. I
Yep.
have taken that word back so many times.
Yep.
Like,
I'm like, I see you, sister. They're throwing a fit. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
That's why mine's at home right now.
that's why I didn't bring my child.
Yep, exactly. So Teddy's in the stage where he is getting into things. He loves to get in the trash and the toilet. He dumped out I just opened a can of Diet Pepsi today, and I hear something just drizzling, and he is just doing this. The entire can of Pepsi on the floor and all over my Bible study that I do in the mornings. I'm like, great. I love that. So what's the craziest thing you've walked into maybe one of your kids doing or something like that?
There's a lot of those probably, but one thing for sure, I'll never forget this. Fletcher was probably a little over a year old, and I'd gone to the bathroom, and you can't take your eyes off your kids for 1 second.
Nope.
God forbid you have to go to the bathroom.
Nope.
So I'm going to the restroom. I'm like 10 feet from him. I just can't see him. I can hear him. So I walk back into the bedroom, and he has pulled this box of markers off of the top of the printer. Ask me how he got on top of the printer. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was on top of the desk. I have no clue how he got it there.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm seeing like red stuff all over the place. I'm thinking, oh good, he's gotten marker everywhere. And I'm like, Fletcher, like, where in the world? How did you get these markers? And I get closer, and he's holding an X-Acto blade.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even know I had one of those. So I full on panic, and he's just smiling and giggling.
Yeah.
Okay, that's blood everywhere. It's not red marker. And so I quickly and very, very like softly, like, hey, let me get that from you.
Yep.
Before you shank yourself in the stomach.
Yep.
So thankfully he only cut his fingers, but it could have been much worse.
Oh my gosh.
So we don't have the X-Acto marker in the marker bin anymore,
No.
or the X-Acto blade in the marker bin anymore. I was just shocked to find it in the first place. I was like, where did this come from? It's, like there's so many questions I have. Like,
Yep.
how'd you get there? How'd you get up there?
Yep. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is scary.
It
I'm
is.
so glad he didn't hurt himself.
Yeah, it could have been way worse.
Or hurt himself badly.
Because he didn't even cry either. I think it was just so sharp. He didn't realize what had happened.
Realize.
Yeah, he never cried.
Oh my word. What?
Yep.
And that's funny you said like you were trying to be calm, because today Teddy had something in his mouth, and anytime he puts something in his mouth and we don't know what it is, we're like, hey, come here.
Because you don't want him to run.
Yeah, exactly. And then, Jeremy had to do that to him earlier.
Yep.
So my next one, what you kind of did, so I don't know if you have another one, a parenting mishap that you can laugh about now. That might have been it.
That's probably one of them. That's probably the mishap that I could laugh about later. But
Has he ever like rolled off, or any of your kids roll off the bed, the couch?
Ella literally hits her head on the floor every week. She is either jumping on the couch or like Fletcher. We tell him every day, get out from under the recliners. Get out from under the couch. Stop climbing on the back of the couch. Okay, I'm in my bedroom and I hear him screaming, and I'm like, oh, that's a hurt cry. Mm-hmm. So I get in there, and he's laying on the floor behind the couch, and I knew immediately what happened. And I have no sympathy for things like that. I was like, dude, what happened? He just kept crying. I said, did you climb on the top of the couch and fall off the back? And he was like, yeah. I said, I don't even feel sorry for you because I've told you every day to quit jumping on the couch and quit. I'm not one of those moms. It's like, oh, baby, come here. Like, I'm just not that mom.
I'm
probably
laughing
should
because
be.
that's me.
Yeah, man.
Baby,
I'm like,
you just pulled the fireplace grate on top of your head.
yeah. So you're going to get over that the more he does it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, the older he gets and the more he does it,
Yep.
where it's like, why are you doing that when you know better? Yeah.
When you start telling them the same thing every day and they keep doing it, it's like you just eventually run out of patience for it. And you're like, well, I'm so sorry. You're going to learn the hard way. I guess this is the way to learn.
Did you ever have like Ella or him or Fletcher when he was little, like roll off the bed when they were like really tiny?
Fletcher rolled off the bed maybe once or twice. That's just because he was like crawling super fast and I wasn't prepared for it. Ella hasn't really, I don't think she's rolled off the bed, but she definitely falls off the couch every day. Not every day, but every week. Like she stands up on her little chair at the house and just back flips off of it.
The first time Teddy fell off the couch, I had him in his boppy drinking his bottle. And I was sitting beside him. He was 7 months old. We were getting ready to go to a wedding to work. And I looked down at my hand and I was like, oh, I forgot to put my ring on. And he was content. So I run to the bedroom, put my ring on, come back as he's falling in the floor. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's the worst when you see it happening too.
I was crying. My mother-in-law walked in to keep him and she was like, he's okay. He's okay. And I'm like, I know I cried more than he did. And I thought about the rest of the day. I'm like, I can't even work because
brain
I let
damage.
him fall off the couch. And it's completely fine.
Yeah, they're fine. Their head's meant to be hit on the ground probably.
Yeah, it's very tough.
It's fine. God's like, these parents are going to knock their kid's head on everything. Let's just make it really tough.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I like this one. What's a parenting trend that drives you crazy that other parents do?
Man, I don't know. There's probably so many. I don't know.
Can't think of one.
What's yours?
I guess I'm thinking about the parents who just let their kids make every decision. And like, sometimes I'm like, it's not a choice. Like,
sure, you're not their friend.
Charge.
You're their parent.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest one.
Yeah. Also, this is probably going to offend people.
That's okay.
I'm not a fan of gentle parenting. Like,
okay, yeah.
Be stern with your kid if they need to be stern. Don't talk them down off a cliff. Like, sometimes, that's necessary. Yeah. But sometimes your kid needs to get in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm just one of those people. Like,
okay, speaking of the gentle parenting, I saw a TikTok or Instagram video where a kid hits their mom.
Nope.
And she goes, let's try it again softer.
No.
And I thought, okay, why is it not we don't hit instead of let's do it softer?
Hey, let's go to the bathroom so I can spank your bottom. See, and that's the other side of things. Like, like Ella, she's in the stage of like wanting to hit because she's seeing her brother do it, I'm sure, or just coming into that age where they're trying to get aggression out. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But you're like, they hit your hand or they hit you and you're like, I'm going to spank you. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like you're trying to teach them a lesson, but also teaching them not to hit. I'm like, how do you? That's where I'm kind of like on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, parenting's hard.
Parenting is hard. Oh, there's just no easy way.
It's not. It's nothing's easy.
So, is there a show or a toy or something that your kids like that drives you crazy?
Oh, it's Blippi.
Blippi.
Fletcher asks for Blippi occasionally, and I will allow him to watch Blippi, but it's only for short spurts because the sound of his voice makes my skin crawl off my bones.
Oh,
like,
gosh.
Blippi is not a fan. It's just not.
I'm not familiar with Blippi.
Okay.
I'm sure it's coming.
His stuff is like, it's cool, but why you gotta talk like that, man? Blippi, like, don't talk like that,
Why
dude.
you talk like that?
Just
Let's
talk like
have a really annoying voice.
Just talk like a normal human being. Kids learn that way. You don't have to talk crazy.
Okay, well, that brings me to, do y'all watch Miss Rachel?
Yeah, we do watch Miss Rachel. And Ella, even Fletcher, he would, like, they'd hear her come on and they just light up and they look at the screen like, oh my gosh, Miss Rachel. Like, they love Miss Rachel. And that's like free babysitting, honestly.
This is so bad. If I let Teddy, he would watch Miss Rachel all day.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I'm pretty sure sometimes when the grandparents have him, that is what he does. But like today, I'm like, we're going outside, so I have to cut it off during the day.
Yeah.
You know, he'll watch it a little bit in the morning, and then we're like, okay, got to cut it off. Mm-hmm. Well, today he walks in the back door by himself because he wants to come back inside, goes to his room. Miss Rachel's on, and he is grinning like a possum at Miss Rachel. And I'm like, fine,
what is
buddy,
it?
Just watch Miss Rachel.
What is it about Miss Rachel? I love her because she teaches them all the things, but
yeah, but what is it?
It's like,
and why won't he watch anything else?
I don't know. It's like a lot. It's like a moth to a flame. Like,
yeah,
I don't understand it. My kid, so Fletcher really likes weird shows. Like, he's all into Nightmare Before Christmas. I never watched that.
I never watched that either.
He loves the Cat in the Hat, like the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat.
Okay.
He's a strange kid. He's a strange kid. Like, he likes shows, and I'm like, okay, but whatever. Like, most of the time watching TV is like bedtime, or, you know, we don't watch a lot of TV with him, but he would sit there and watch it all day.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody said, y'all live at the park. And I'm like, well, we have to get
or
out,
you'd be
go
stuck
outside,
inside all day.
Or I'll be stuck inside watching Miss Rachel, because that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
He'll grab every remote in this house and walk around with it and get upset if the TV is not on. So, yeah. So, do you have any mom hacks that make your life easier that you could share with everybody?
You know, organized chaos in my house, to be honest. I would say having a schedule is the most efficient way to be a parent and just to be existing in life.
Yes.
So, I mean, Mondays are kind of our like lay low day. We kind of chill out most of the day because Fletcher doesn't have preschool Mondays. Sundays are just get up, go to church, do our thing. You know, every day of the week we have something going on. We work out at our house with several friends. So it's like every hour is planned, especially with Ella having a nap time. It's like everything's structured.
Everything's got to be structured.
Got to have a meal plan, which that kind of falls off the rails. But like we try to plan our meals out for the week.
So what are you eating tonight?
We're actually eating, I think Sakura. We're doing Japanese. Yeah, so we're not cooking tonight.
But it was planned.
Yeah, well, it kind of planned today because we have a meeting tonight with with our work. So
now I want that. Thanks.
Yeah, I've been wanting sushi, so I was like, hey, that sounds really good. And we have a meeting at like 7:00 tonight. So
it worked out perfect.
It does.
Well, I have one last question for you, and I don't know why this is the last one. This is just in no particular order. What is the most annoying parenting advice that you have received?
So much. You know, something that really drove me crazy when the babies were babies, like sleep when they sleep. I'm like, no, how you gonna get stuff done? That's inaccurate. That's terrible advice. Like, I understand the concept behind it. Like, you gotta have rest, but
no,
my friends,
not practical.
Your life cannot carry on and function and do all the things you need to do while you're sleeping.
Yes.
Because you be sleeping all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's all they do.
Mm-hmm.
That's not accurate advice.
That's the worst advice. Okay, so what is your advice? We'll make this the last question.
Okay.
What is your advice for a mom who has 2 kids or is going to have 2 kids close in age together?
I would say take life as it comes. I'm all about structure and planning and things like that. Like, I'm a planner, but sometimes you just got to let go of everything. Like, I'm pretty OCD when it comes to my house. Like, I'm a little obsessive about it, but I've had to learn to let go of some things and drop some balls just because can't do it all.
Can't do it all.
Yeah.
That's the good advice. You can't do it all.
Can't do it all. You kind of have to just let your house get messy for a couple of days and just accept. I'm a bad person about accepting help from people. Like, I want to do it all, but I had to learn just to accept the help and have a team.
I love it. Well, that's good advice. Yeah. And thank you so much for coming over and doing this and sharing your wisdom and knowledge with everybody.
So much wisdom.
Well, bye, everybody.
See ya.
Thanks for listening today. If you enjoyed the podcast, please leave a review or share with a friend. And if you're interested in being on the Moms Like Me podcast, reach out to me on Instagram. This episode was produced by Cunningham Creative, a mobile podcasting service. If you'd like more information, visit cunninghamcreative.online.